All right, we're live. And welcome to the DJ the Money Coach Expert Interview Series. I'm Nick, and as always, I'm joined by DJ the Money Coach, the founder of the 7 Spheres of Money. How's your vacation going, DJ?
Man, dude, it is amazing. You should have came, baby. I'm telling you. How you loving it out there in Jersey, Nick?
Oh man, I'm not living like you, man. I wish I could be there.
Hey, man, one day soon you will have this pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind, and you literally can travel with us on the beaches of the World Club, baby. So this is one of the beaches of the month that we stop throughout the year. So I'm going to make sure you get there next time, all right?
Sounds good. Sounds good. So who are we talking to today, DJ?
Oh, man. Hey, this is my guy that I met when I first came to Houston. 2 years into being in Houston, I was strolling through a little mall, actually a little strip mall, because I was getting ready to fire Verizon as my carrier. And this gentleman here was the owner of a T-Mobile store. And unbeknownst to me, he owned several T-Mobile stores. And then he tried to sell me on some stuff. And I was like, hey, man, hold up, man. Don't try to sell me on those stuff. Just give me a phone, man. So we were talking, and I was kind of pissed off. To be honest, I was pissed off with another T-Mobile store that turned out his buddy owned. And he was like, look, man, you're about to put this event on. I do graphic design. I do this. He was talking like 1,000,000 miles a minute. But I said, you know what? I liked him because he was aggressive, assertive, and he had a plan. And he treated me with the platinum room from the jump start. So this gentleman, his name is Eddie Sajjad. I call him my little brother, but this guy is very well accomplished. I mean, he does graphic design. He does websites. He does apps. He's a world traveler. He has business on practically almost every continent that I know of. And at the end of the day, he did all my stuff. Everything that I've done in the past 10 years, Eddie has been responsible for my websites, my logos, and in conjunction with my son, Rodney. But he's put all my media and everything together. He actually has seen me build symposiums. He's seen me at the credit union. I mean, he's done everything. It's kind of like my intern. Then he just went off and 10x'd everything. So without further ado, I can't get this guy enough, pom-pom, accreditation. I'm going to give you guys Eddie Sajjad. What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's up, brother? What's up? Thank you for the kind introduction. I see that you're enjoying yourself. I'm kind of missing out. I need to get myself on a beach here pretty soon too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Eddie, man, tell everybody about what your backstory is, how you came about being a serial entrepreneur who's a serious entrepreneur. Not only a serial entrepreneur, but he's a serious entrepreneur. And this guy, man, has ideas that come out like every second. So why don't you give us a fill in, tell us how we met, and start it off from there, brother.
Yeah, man. So DJ met me at one of my darker hours when I was kind of struggling in the retail business. I had gotten myself involved into purchasing a few cell phone stores with the franchise T-Mobile. Long story short, I'm no longer in that business. DJ was actually one of my inspirations to where the old adage goes, like, if you do what you love, you won't really consider it to be work. And like you see DJ enjoying what he does really well right about now. Yeah, I mean, it was something that I kind of got stuck into. Retail stores. I was managing retail stores, running retail stores, and eventually got out of it. Now I'm more of a passion, which I follow in my communications world. I'm a designer. I'm an award-winning designer that has a full infrastructure and team that backs his skill set. So my business has grown dramatically from still sort of a serial entrepreneur, but more of a serious entrepreneur now. I have multiple companies that I'm operating with operations across 2 continents. So we're a design firm that helps you communicate your messaging, and it's called isitonline.com. And Is It Online is pretty much a full turnkey service provider to be able to put out solutions having to do with digital solutions, digital transformation, websites, mobile apps, softwares. But that's what I do for my gig as a primary, and then I dabble in some other things here and there, including international trading.
So tell us, when we got together, talk about some of the projects that you and I worked on, and how we came about putting those things together, and what were some of the ups, what were some of the downs, but most importantly, why we persevered through. And then, like you said, you became a serious entrepreneur because I gave you a couple of tips, and I was like, hey man, Eddie, man, you got 1,000 ideas, they're all phenomenal, but sometimes you just gotta, instead of being a jack of all trades, you got to be a master of one, which you are now. And man, he's killing it, Nick. I mean, he's got strong passive income. He is dealing with people at the top of the food chain in a lot of major industries. He's actually created a business right off the back of the COVID-19 scenario that we are partnered up with, that he was fortunate to reach out to me. And I'm always like, Eddie, I don't have time to do stuff. But when he showed me this one and the money that was available to make through our network, because your network is in direct correlation to your net worth, it's powerful. So talk to that, Eddie.
Yeah. So I mean, there were a lot of up and downs, but basically, DJ came up with amazing ideas as far as he was the execution man, right? So he connected and did a great project with Manchester United as a organization, where we brought in it was Man U, and it was in Houston. They did a match and everything. It was an All-Stars tournament, and we did an event with them. We've done a great series of financial education with YMCA, with the Federal Reserve. Was it Houston Federal Reserve?
Yep, Houston Federal Reserve. Yep.
Houston Federal Reserve. That was a great project. And we've also worked with DJ's really, really talented and passionate about baseball, and he's worked with several organizations in the Houston area and kind of tried to streamline the teaching of the young kids. Including, he mentors his children very, very well. Very well. They're not even children. I could call them young men now. But yeah, I mean, I've seen them grow up right in front of my eyes. So in 12 years, right? So, yeah, so like he has a major footprint in improving how baseball is taught in the Fort Bend area, where we live in or where we reside in. And then yeah, I've been there the whole time because he comes up with these great ideas, and I help him communicate that to his target audience to the best of my ability, which normally turns out pretty good. All right, so
yeah, definitely. He's got OCD. I remember the first time it was just killing me. I was like, Eddie, man, you killing me, man. Just give me the product.
Yeah. We strive for pixel perfection, man. That's like kind of one of the curses of a designer, right? You want to get it as good looking as possible and as effective as possible. And that's DJ really pushed me to pursue my passion. He saw that I had a real passion for my design, and I really was striving for perfection. And we would chat, and I was like, man, when I design, I don't even recognize or realize how much time I've spent, and then the next thing you know, it's been 8 hours, right? So and he was like, that's you're lucky, you found your passion. Now you just have to pursue it full time, and then kind of grow it from there. So basically, designing led to web development, then web development led to software, then software led to mobile apps. And it was just following a thought process. And it was also his direction that kind of guided me towards focus, right? So as a creative, a lot of times as a young entrepreneur, you really don't know how to hone in on something and kind of just grab it and just ride it till it takes you to success. So a lot of times I had a knack for just coming up with an idea and just turning one thing off and trying to follow another thing and going in different directions, and to streamline that into a singular direction and kind of follow through has helped me tremendously. I mean, I still dibble dabble a little bit here and there with where I go into tangents, but I have my core skill set that's always the base of all my thoughts now, which is my ability to design and communicate. And then I've been lucky enough to build a pretty big team. So we have a team of 32 individuals that that work with us, that work for my company, and we deliver solutions together. So it's good. The solution he's talking about right now is so we're a very agile unit. Agile unit as in the sense that we can take our core competencies and kind of focus them on a particular topic and generate results really fast. So I'm pretty well connected in the political realm here in Fort Bend County, and basically had a thought process come to mind where I had a lot of people that were struggling to deal with this whole pandemic as far as the coronavirus. And, you know, it was all over the news as far as, hey, there's going to be a bottleneck and so many people are going to get sick and there's not going to be enough beds at our disposal. And I started working on a solution to alleviate the bottleneck. And we came up with an application, came up with a website, came up with an initiative. It was called the Coronavirus Response Initiative here in Houston, Texas. It found some success, but one of the bottlenecks that we ran into when trying to provide a solution was there was a serious shortage of actual supply of what we call PPE. PPE is personal protection equipment, and what that consists of is masks, hand sanitizers, gowns and gloves, basically protection that against the virus. And during my initiative of figuring out a digital solution, I ran into this solution of just shortage. And again, having the ability to build e-commerce sites and having vast connections in the trade industry, we put up a website and started selling some PPE through our channel networks. And I reached out to DJ and said, hey, do you have anybody that within your business network that might be experiencing the same issue that most businesses are experiencing, which is the shortage? Because now that you see like people kind of opening back up, as far as the cities opening back up and businesses opening back up, they need to protect their employees and their customers. And we started supplying the PPE. We started supplying masks and hand sanitizers and everything else in between. And so far, it's helped us kind of bridge that gap between when everybody's business got hurt because of this pandemic, literally everybody, right? And we were no exception, because I generate a lot of my business by being out there and networking and talking to people and engaging people. And I wasn't able to do that. I was stuck at home. So this business allowed me to, the revenue from this business allowed me to, be able to suffer the losses on the other side a little bit better. And now both things are kind of working in parallel, and we're going to ride that train until it dies.
Right, till the wheels fall off. So let me ask you this. So you learned all this in college, right? You learned how to make money. You learned how to network in college, because you have a college degree, if I'm not mistaken. I think you got 2 of them, don't you? Talk about your college degree so we can let these young women, young men who are like juniors, seniors in high school, or even freshmen, sophomores in college, what did you get out of college? Because I got a college degree, but honestly, Eddie, I don't encourage my kids to go to college, even though my son is going to college. Unless you're going to become a doctor or an engineer, you actually don't even have to go to school to become a lawyer. There's like 15 states in the United States that all you got to do is take the law exam. You can become a lawyer. So I'm a proponent for education, but not miseducation on the college platform. So talk to that a little bit about college.
Yeah, me and you have had some interesting conversations around that topic before. So like basically, I do have 2 degrees. I almost got my master's as my 3rd degree. It's in MIS and in psychology. I value my degrees, but as far as practical skill sets that are going to actually translate to me being able to earn a living,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a little lacking. So I have a similar viewpoint as far as the education system in our humble country here. That I feel like they could do a much better job for the money that they charge in teaching actual practical skills that translate into a skill set that will generate income. What it does do is it prepares you for being able to meet challenges, like to be able to be put under pressure and to be able to figure out how to perform under pressure. It tests you. It builds up your test taking skills. The whole college environment builds up your social skills a little bit. You know, I mean it. But yeah, DJ's point is quite real, that very few degrees will teach you the practical knowledge needed to succeed in real life, right? The practical skill sets are learned more on the job than they are in college. So in essence, like for example, I've been day trading for the last 3 months.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny because we've been doing it in a group, like a group of friends that were all met in college and high school time, and a number of them have finance degrees. And I would say that I probably know more in the last 3 months than they did in their entire college tenure, right? Like they were pretty much saying that, dude, we don't know how to do this stuff. Our finance degree didn't teach any of this. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, yeah, I mean, you paid how much for your finance degree, you know? So in essence, for that particular thought process, that can college actually, or can a university actually hone you into a practical skill set that you can then just translate into earning money immediately? The answer, unless you're a doctor or some sort of a very specific skill set. But even then, I don't think you learn shit in your first 4 years. I think you learn stuff in like your,
right. Till you get into your major curriculum, which is crazy.
Till your, year, if you're even in your, as a doctor, I think you start learning stuff at year 6, right? So the first 6 years, you pretty much are just, putting money in someone else's pocket. And, but, I will put a caveat there. So DJ is an exception to the rule. His daily effort put towards teaching his kids and teaching them how to learn and how to attain information or knowledge, besides, his effort towards that, or his ability to do that, is elite. So not everyone can give their children that much time. And if you can't guide them towards getting, at least being motivated towards self-education in other formats, then college is recommended as a tool to at least get good at the whole test taking, social environment, getting in the habit of actually studying. That's another thing. At 18, I didn't really want to pick up books, right? So, I mean, if you're a young man or woman that wants to dedicate her time learning off of the internet, learning off of reading books, getting in good habits of learning every day, then yeah, technically you don't need college. Yeah.
Because Google, Yahoo, and those guys are hiring kids out of high school now. You don't need a college degree. If you can code, you can code.
Yeah.
If you can do digital marketing, you can do digital marketing. If you know how to do SEO, pay-per-clicks, and you show them that you have an aptitude for that, Nick's, by the way, Eddie, Nick is a high school English teacher.
Nice.
So I know he kind of pushes back when I say that, but he does it because Nick is a client of mine and actually took him through the 7 spheres of money financial education system and changed his life. And I'm not trying to get a pat on the shoulder for that, but when you brought it up, the reality is being free allows me to give my children the education that I know they need. Enable me to be there every day of the week, guiding them with my ethics, my morals, and my principles, and then showing them the practical application of how they can take their talents and create a lifestyle that they can own. And also in conjunction with that, Nick, Eddie also helps my children out as well. He's a great resource where he'll say, hey, man, yeah, let me talk to Rodney. Let me talk to Christian, and let me show them how to do these things and build up some confidence in them. And the most important part about that, Eddie and Nick, is that they are comfortable in that environment, because a lot of times I see kids come out of college and they still don't have any networking or social skills, and they can't articulate themselves. They can do a test. They can do all that in the corner, turn the lights out. They can do that stuff in their sleep and score off the chart. But when it comes to open up their mouth, asking for the sale or just saying hello, they don't know what to do. And to me, that's a disadvantage. So having the ability to do that, benefit by knowing people like Eddie in that regard. And Eddie basically said, hey, let me take your kids over here to this place, show me some of the things that kids like, and we'll start showing them how to do a distribution channel, put it up on Facebook, Instagram, and immediately show them how to make money. And at the end of the day, 98% of stuff we do is impacted by money.
I can't agree more with what Dale just said. I mean, again, his kids are great at taking in information and following directions and running with it. I mean, let's just say it this way, right? Majority of college is also designed around hoping that you're going to land a secure, well, quote unquote, secure job in the corporate world. The entrepreneur degree should really be taught by somebody like Dale, right? Like the entrepreneurism is considered a joke out of college, right? But they really do not teach you the core skill sets of, like, if you go through an entrepreneur course, or if you go through an entrepreneur program, or if you go through a business degree, they're really not teaching you the skill sets that are required to become a successful entrepreneur. Right? They'll teach you a bullshit accounting course, a bullshit finance course, which is just exactly what he said. It's test taking skills. There should be courses around interactivity and how to interact with people and communication skills, that they need to work on that, because you're going to have a horrible time becoming an entrepreneur if you can't communicate well, right? So so a lot of times I've learned a lot of those skills by trial by fire, right? Where you throw yourself into it and you just kind of come out swimming or drowning. So the business programs and entrepreneurship programs in universities are teaching the wrong materials, or are not teaching the right things to the students in order for them to be successful.
Yeah, they're in an analog world. They haven't caught up to the digital world. So enough about that. Let's talk about the apps that you've made, and let's talk about what you're doing right now today and the business you do on both continents, and talk to the people who are creative, the people on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat that want to have the same success that you have, because I firmly believe, Eddie, you are a phenomenal talent. Everybody's phenomenal talent. God's given everybody gifts that they can actually live the lifestyle that they deserve to have. So let's talk about not the exception to the rule, but the rule, and what's the template to help create that success and make it conducive for you to become who you are today.
So it all kind of starts with a focus. It's you have to define and identify what you can potentially like, or you really like to do, and then work on that skill set till you not only become good at it but exceptional at it, right? And once you do that, then what you have to do is you have to see what kind of branches off of that skill set. What is that skill set can be the base of, and then kind of go towards entrepreneurism to fill those branches. So I'll give you an example. Like, if you're a graphic designer and if you like to design, which is what I was, 15 years ago, and now I'm an award-winning designer, I pretty much kept on working on that skill set. But as I worked on that skill set, I started to realize what other businesses stem off of that. So one business was, what I started off with was that, hey, people get me to do graphic design so they can then go print stuff, right?
Listen up, Nick. He's about to give you a huge lesson of creating multiple streams of income. Go ahead, Eddie. School these people out there.
So basically what I did was, okay, well, if people are going to get designs from me and then go to someone else to print, why don't I help them by saying, hey, you can just come to me and I'll do the design and the printing. So what I did was I started going out and building a network of printers and negotiating contracts with them as far as being able to resell their product lines without them disclosing who they were to my clients. So we call that like basically white labeling their solution for my needs.
Hey,
right?
Eddie, how do we prevent them from disclosing that information?
Yeah. So that's a good question.
That magical document.
Yeah. A friend of mine went out of his way to get me this little fun document called a non-disclosure non-compete, and you pretty much have a chat with them. First off, you do not want to deal with vendors that do not deal with the resellers. If they don't have a system in place to deal with resellers, then that's the wrong vendor, right? So you want to deal with vendors that are already accustomed to dealing with resellers, because they'll have some, experiences and tools and tips in place that can kind of help guide the process forward, right? But anyway, so I formed a network of printers. So right now we have 50 printers within our network that we source from. Then the next thing I realized was people were using my graphic design skills to then go print signage, right? Signage for trade shows, signage for their.
That's three streams of income right there. Keep counting, Nick. Keep counting. I want you to keep counting. So that's 3. Keep going, Eddie. I get excited.
Yeah. So we did the same thing. We went and got signage vendors to partner up with and facilitate. And one of the cool things you can do is you can also ask for them for their portfolio, and you can display that portfolio as your work, because in essence you're reselling their work, right? So then we went on to people wanting to do websites with my design. So we built a network of. So initially, I went through the mistake. So this is a mistake where DJ helped me, like live example. I was building websites myself. It was do it yourself, right? Like you figure out that, oh, I can, along with designing, I can also build websites. Well, my initial experiences on building websites were that they're very time consuming to build, right? They take up a lot of my time, and I'm not the best at it, right? Learn that, because that would require me to take my focus away from being a great designer and a communicator to now becoming a great web developer, right? I was more interested and fascinated with the design side and not the development side, right? This one was a little bit more tricky. So you can't just go find vendors that can resell websites for you. That's not how it works, right? So I went down through this incredible journey of working with making a lot of mistakes. So as an entrepreneur, you can't fear failure, right? And then that's what DJ teaches as well, that you have to keep trying, right? There's always a way. You just have to keep trying. And after some struggle, working with freelancers, working with local talent, I eventually set up my own operations overseas, because I happen to be from Pakistan, and I speak multiple languages, and I have family there. So I just traveled back and forth, and I eventually ended up establishing my own practice where where outsourcing comes into big play, right? So out in today's digital age, if I can tell a creative one thing, or a business person or an entrepreneur one advice, is learn how to take advantage of outsourcing, right? If you can figure out how to utilize talents here in the US and abroad, right? But communicate with them remotely, digitally, to provide a good experience to your clients, normally that's going to be a winning proposition for both you and your clients, right? So I'm a big proponent of outsourcing and figuring out how to get the right type of talent with the right type of infrastructure in place, where you can get things done for a fraction of the cost. So, yeah.
Yep, I've done the same thing. I created a virtual assistance company out of the Philippines back in 2015 when Eddie put my 7 Spheres of Money website together. So all of my digital books were created by a person in the Philippines that I never met personally. And the same products that I sell today, my digital online webinar course, the Family Finance 101, was created in the Philippines. And basically they took conversations and expos that I was a keynote speaker or a workshop speaker at, and condensed them down into booklets for me. And I understood by working with Eddie the power of delegation across the pond. I was actually at first a little bit reluctant, but I said, you know what? If Eddie's doing it, I can do it too. And worst case scenario is I'll find the technology to limit the things I have fear about so that I can move forward. And what opened up my eyes to that, Eddie, was when I met an old student of mine from back in like 1998 that was on YouTube, and the dude had like 50,000 subscribers. Then it turned out he had like 1,200 agents working for him in the merchant services business. I think I remember you and I talked about his name was James, and he had agents in North America and Canada and the US, and he was killing it. And he said, hey man, why are you still living in an analog world when you taught me how to become an entrepreneur almost 20 years ago? So man, that's how important it is as an entrepreneur, is to fail first without fear, because you're learning, you're getting paid on the job to make honest mistakes. And then how do you take that, Eddie, and then create it to where you made that pivot, that you knew that you were the best at what you did, and now you have a business system which you didn't have probably even 3.5 years ago, but now you have a phenomenal business system that you don't have to worry about you doing the work. How did you get to that point, and how does that benefit you, your family, and how can that benefit that entrepreneur if they start doing that now versus later?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of all started where DJ actually got me into going to events where there were some powerful speakers. We attended some seminars, and the thought process that was learned through some channels out there that was repeated was that, do you currently own a business, or do you work for yourself? Like, as in, like, are you just working as a job for yourself? So the determinant factor was, will you make money if you stop working tomorrow? Will you continue to make money? And my answer was, no. Right? Like,
I was always yes.
Right? My answer was like, no. Right? So that realized that I kind of owned a business, but no, not really. If I didn't work, I wasn't going to make any money, right? So yeah, so that led me to a journey that, okay, how do I not work and still make money, right? So right now we've built some pretty cool apps. We built a couple of apps for the city of Houston. We built it for their Easy Tag, their toll road authority. We built an application that they use during the Super Bowl, which allows them to be able to collect tolls without having an actual tag, doing it off of an app.
Oh,
so
sweet.
we built that. We built a voting application called Voteson. That's supposed to be basically the next coming of how voter education is supposed to be dispensed to the voting audience.
I got it.
There you go.
I got it, baby.
So
Yes, early adopter.
That's one of our applications that we've built. We're now also have worked and did some pretty big software projects for a software reselling platform out of California called Exilient. We've done a telemedicine platform because of this whole pandemic element. We did it's called M Hospital. It's a full EHR EMR system that allows doctors to conduct their practice and do the billing for their practice and be able to do digital visits, right, off of like sort of like this, like a digital visit to a potential patient. So we've worked on some pretty decent sized platforms. We've also had my ability to build a team overseas has also allowed me to take on much bigger clientele and more work than I could possibly handle on my own. So we've worked with various oil and gas companies like Weatherford, like NOV, like Fugro, like Chevron. We also just got done building one of our what do you call your prime clients, or your optimum clients? I guess one of our top clients is called,
I call them flagship.
My flagship clients. One of our flagship products and clients is called Subsurface.io, which is a oil and gas software solution for data visualization that's doing real well. So, like, long story short, to bring it back full circle, in order to be successful as a creative, you have to expand on your product line, your product offerings. So everything you sell is a product, right? Every particular solution that you offer, whether it's a service or not, or whether it's an actual physical product, it's still considered a product, right? So the more parallel products without you going outside of your core focus that you can build around your core skill set, the more successful or the more growth you can experience. And along with building products, it's extremely important to figure out how to delegate and grow your team without breaking the bank. Making bad investments on building a team or selecting the wrong partners or selecting the wrong can hurt you quite bad. So doing your research and your due diligence in the beginning to then figure out how you can use outsourcing or build a nice team structure to be able to grow your product line, right? And then of course, digital, right? If you're not taking advantage of the digital world, if you're not on social media, if you're not learning digital skill sets on how to promote yourself online, if you're not able to, if you're shy about creating content, right, around your core skill set, you're gonna have you have an uphill battle, right? That doesn't mean you can't succeed, but you're fighting an uphill battle, right? Because this is the way that you can go forward, right? Learning how to be brave enough to believe in yourself and invest in yourself and your ideas and your thoughts. Even if you fail, what you learn in the process is invaluable, right? And that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs shy away from. Like, oh, I mean, what's going to happen if I fail, or where do I get the loan and do this? And should I invest in myself or should I just go get a job? That's a core skill set. In order to be an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to take risks. And if you can't,
you got to have intestinal fortitude, man. Yeah. I mean that I always tell people, hey man, if you don't believe in yourself more than I believe in you, then I'm not going to invest in you. And you know what? I do not apologize for loving Dale more than anybody else, because that's my number one talent, is supreme confidence. And you know where supreme confidence comes from, Nick? It comes from me doing the work. The fact that I study the field that I am excited about. I go in and do the research just like a PhD. I'll read and learn about something for 3 to 4 years, and I'll read it 60 hours a week. And then I'll put it into application and see if it works. And then I'll keep perfecting it. So my grandfather and my father always told me, only time you find success before work is in the dictionary. And there's no such thing as an overnight wonder, because you put the time in and do those deliberate hours, 10,000 deliberate hours, you can become an expert in any craft. And that's what I've seen Eddie do over the past 5 years. He narrowed his focus and then started building literally to Pakistan 10,000 hours in his craft, where he's now number one in his profession. So we don't have but a couple of minutes left. So Eddie, give us 3 quick tips about what you would leave for that entrepreneur, that young person in college, that they should do soon as they see this video, what they should take action to.
Well, starting your entrepreneurial journey at an early age is highly recommended, because that allows you to basically fail and recover, right? There are those that just never fail, but to be honest with you, they're not as strong entrepreneurs as the ones that have failed and succeeded, right? So, in my opinion, if you're a young man that's coming out of college or thinking about, hey, I'm going to become an entrepreneur 10 years from now, you should think about starting your journey now rather than later. Do it on a small scale. For example, just a small, easy thing to do. Find a product, right? Find a wholesaler that sells a particular product, right? Whether it be like masks or whether it be like a children's toy, or whether it be a garment of some sort, that hat that DJ is wearing. Find a wholesaler that can give that to you at a good price. Go set up an online digital channel. Like, for example, if you are on Facebook, on Twitter, or Instagram, and you have a bunch of friends and followers, and start selling that product to them via a Facebook Marketplace, or via a Shopify a website, or via something. and at least give it an effort to see, oh, how does it feel to be able to purchase something from one end and sell it to another or market to another, and then slowly grow at it, right? Give yourself saying that, hey, I'm going to put 10 hours a week into my business, and I'm going to kind of keep on going that way. And eventually you'll get better and better and better. And once you reach that 10,000 hours, you might be doing that as your primary income. You never know that, right? So
absolutely. So Eddie, where can we reach you? Give us your information slowly. Give it to us twice.
Yeah, sure. Well, my name is Eddie Sajjad. You can contact me via my website, which is www.isitonline.com. That's again ISIT online.com. isitonline.com is my website. The phone number actually on that website is a direct line to me. So if you wanted to, you can contact me from that number. My email address is also there. Yeah, I'll be happy to answer any questions or help you with any communication needs, or if you have any amazing ideas about creative apps or softwares or products that you would like to bring to market, be happy to help.
Man, that's awesome. So Nick, what you learned here today is cooperative economics. Don't be afraid to fail, put the deliberate action in. And the one thing that Eddie didn't say, but he exemplifies, is a closed mouth never gets fed. And that's one thing Eddie is always talking and telling you about what he's got new on the table. And I always admire that and respect that about him. And it keeps my game at the top of my game, because I know that if Eddie's doing it, I got to be doing it. So Nick, give me your feedback of what you learned in this awesome interview with this amazing, serious entrepreneur that I've been knowing for 12 years. And like he said, he's saying my children grow up and I preach what I practice, is what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, well, for those entrepreneurs out there, you just got a free business consultation from this interview. Eddie gave you so much information that you would normally have to pay for, but there were so many takeaways, practical skills, how and when and if you should attend college, the importance of being focused and working with the team, and not stopping, believing in yourself. That's a recurring theme that I've been hearing in a lot of the interviews we've been having, and the importance of self-education. That's another key takeaway that I got from this conversation.
Man, that's awesome. Well, you know how we end this, baby. And I always tell people, you forgot, if you want to have that pom-pom lifestyle, which is this right here, because guess what? 98% of people on social media are frauds, phonies and fakes, because they ain't really living it. And guess what? I've been doing this for 20 years. This ain't a brag. I've sat down with over 20,000 people independently, and I've created 4 7-figure revenue businesses, and Eddie can attest to it. And I don't quit. I just keep grinding. That's why I look so young and beautiful. But at the end of the day, all jokes aside, I wish everybody a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind, and come travel with us on the Beaches of the World Club. But live your dream, live your life, and don't let nobody tell you otherwise. This is DJ the Money Coach. This is Nick. I salute my brother Eddie for coming and backing us up last minute. And we're going to do this again. We'll see you on the flip side. God bless.
Take care, guys. Thanks for the interview.